Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So, it's time for the next episode of Movie That Didn't Need a Sequel. Now, in today's video, guys, I'm going to be once again covering another example of a horror movie in this series, and this is ironically a sequel as well, guys, which in my opinion did not need a sequel. And this is for the second installment of a slasher franchise, and this is a franchise that I'm not really a fan of, with the exception of 4 other movies in the franchise of 9 movies. And this film, which in my opinion did not need a sequel, is none other than 1986's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So, when it comes to what I think of a franchise, so, as you guys may know, if you've seen my franchise ranking video and my unboxing of my negative of Leatherface himself, the villain of a franchise, I absolutely adore the first movie of the franchise. It's a phenomenal masterpiece, one of the greatest slasher films of all time. And it's also as well one of the most eerie ones of the franchise because it's based on a true story as well. So that's what makes it a lot more scarier, in my opinion, and very freaky to think about. And this sequel, the second movie, now, while it may not be as good in my opinion as the first movie, I think it's an amazing sequel and a great continuation because the first film, of course, ends on a terrifying cliffhanger. So I definitely suspect there'll be more to come from the ending of it because the serial killer Leatherface is, of course, still out there, and he'll be wanting, of course, to kill more people, won't he, of course. And Leatherface, of course, is one of my favourite slasher villains of all time, introduced in the first movie, very terrifying and disturbing, and of course known for his iconic chainsaw as well. And the first 2 films did a great job portraying him as a terrifying villain, absolutely. One of those villains that does not speak either as well, which also what makes him frightening as well, even though he doesn't have any dialogue. So yeah, great villain. And this film, of course, has a great ending because at the end of the movie, Leatherface and his family are all killed, of course, and in of course their lair, because a grenade, of course, is dropped and it destroys their lair. And Leatherface is also fatally wounded in a duel between him and the main character of a film called Lieutenant Boo Lefty Enright, played by Dennis Hopper, may rest in peace. And there was a pretty cool fight with their chainsaws, and Leatherface got defeated and killed, of course. And of course as well, the grenade, of course, destroys the ground and kills everyone there. And as far as I'm concerned, guys, that, of course, is the end of the movie. And so, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, there was no setups whatsoever at the end, no continuation and hints at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, guys, TCM2 is the true end of the franchise, as far as I'm concerned. But, unfortunately, despite this film having a great ending, the idea of it ending with second film was deemed not to be because, unfortunately, 7 more films came out in this franchise, and 5 of them I do not like. So, the only ones I've liked, guys, are the 2 remakes, of course, which is, of course, none other than 2003's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, and also, of course, 2006's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. So, those 2 are the only ones that I've liked since the original movie. But if we're talking about the original timeline and movies, which of course aren't remakes, I've not liked anything that came after it. So, first thing, of course, we got was Leatherface, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which was a massive letdown in my opinion because it brought back Leatherface and didn't explain how he came back at all, and made it to be a second film pointless, and introduced characters I didn't care about. I found the film boring. In my opinion, the only best part of the third film was probably Ken Foray and some of the kills, in my opinion, and that's about it, really. Then, unfortunately, in 1994, or 1995, depending on the release dates or whatever, we have then, of course, unfortunately got what is, of course, as I've talked about in my ranking, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, which, of course, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Easily, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. That film is just complete trash from start to finish, or beyond trash, and there's nothing good about it, in my opinion, with no characters that I liked at all, no redeeming qualities at all. And Leatherface is also massacred beyond all belief in the movie and absolutely ruined. And like, the film is just beyond trash from start to finish. And it ruins what I love about the TCM franchise. Absolutely ruins it, which is horrendous. So, yeah, that movie is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And in the future, guys, I will give it a mega trash talk, because it definitely does deserve it for me. I'm going to give it a mega trash talk, because it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Then we've got the 2 remakes after this movie, and they were good in my opinion. I like to send them both prequels to the original movie as well, because they do feel like that in my opinion, because how close they are to the first 2 films. Then, unfortunately, after the 2 remakes, we then got another big disgrace to a franchise, which of course was Texas Chainsaw 3D. But if you watch it on home media like I did when I watched it, it's just called Texas Chainsaw. So yeah. And this film also sucked in my opinion. In my opinion, the only good thing about Texas Chainsaw 3D was the opening sequence. In my opinion, the only good part of the film, that's the only part worth watching, then you should stop right there. And I guess as well, the appearances, of course, by actors from previous movies who appear, for example, of course, Marilyn Burns, who plays Sally in the original movie, may she rest in peace. She appears in this film as a character called Werner. And Gunnar Hansen, who of course is the original actor for Leatherface, he also, of course, appears as Boss Sawyer as well in the movie. May he rest in peace as well. So, I guess, you know, those cameos are fine, in my opinion, and yeah, but the film is just terrible, in my opinion, from start to finish, and it gets the whole timeline completely wrong, because the main character of the movie is, of course, Heather Miller, and she's played by Alexandra Daddario. And the thing is, due to a timeline, the character should be in her 40s, whereas she's played by Alexandra Daddario, who was in her 20s when the film came out, I'm pretty sure, because this was 2013, So yeah, and she would have been 27, of course, when the film came out, so yeah, they should not have, you know, casted a young actress in the role. So yeah, the timeline made absolutely no sense, and no character that I really liked in the film either. It was just a terrible movie in my opinion, and I'll definitely give it a trash talk as well. Then, unfortunately, after this film, we then got another prequel, believe it or not, as well, which was a prequel to the original movie, and also, unfortunately, as well, to Texas Chainsaw 3D as well, which, of course, was 2017's Leatherface. Yeah, it's just called Leatherface, guys. And that film also was a letdown. I thought it was really boring and mediocre. In my opinion, the other good thing about it was Stephen Dorff as his character, Texas Ranger Hal Hartman. Although I do, of course, prefer him way more as Deacon Frost in Blade. But yeah, the film was just really boring, in my opinion, mediocre. It just added nothing to the franchise at all. There's not been a good movie in the canon timeline movies since the first 2 films to me. The only good things are the remakes, of course. Then after this movie, we then got, of course, what was the franchise killer for me, because this film completely killed my interest in watching more TCM movies, which of course was 2022 from last year's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So yeah, they took away the in the title from it's just Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this film, of course, got dumped onto Netflix, which I'm not surprised at, because, you know, I didn't think it was going to suck from what I heard about it. And this film was also terrible, in my opinion, as well. It was really boring. No characters that I liked in the movie. The movie also does bring back Sally, but unfortunately she gets massacred and horribly killed off and sent off, in my opinion. They tried to make a rip-off of Laurie Strode on Halloween from 2018's Halloween movie by making her, you know, come back to fight her enemy, but she was not prepared at all to fight Leatherface, and he, of course, killed her, which I was very angry about. And the only thing, in my opinion, was probably the kills. They were graphic, in my opinion, and definitely, you know, decent, I guess, but it didn't really save it for the film. And the bus team was also beyond stupid, because the students who were partying in the bus, they didn't run away when we saw Leatherface enter with his chainsaw. We didn't, like, smash a window or anything like that, or run past him or anything like that. They just took pictures of him on their phones, and one of them, of course, also said, "You're gonna get cancelled, bro." And that made me rage in anger, because, as I said before, guys, I'm one of those people that absolutely despises cancel culture. So yeah, when they did that, I raged in anger. And the film has a dumb ending, which is nothing but, you know, like, more movies to come baiting, where, you know, Leatherface is revealed to be alive, and he kills one of the main characters, and the other character is, you know, taken away on an automatic car or something, and it ends with Leatherface returning to his home. So yeah, all I can say is, you know, this film was just trash, and it completely killed my interest in watching more films. So yeah, I saw this film, guys, and I don't want to see any more. I am done with TCM because of it. If they do any more, which I hope they don't do, I'm not going to watch them. There's no point at all. because this franchise needs to just go die now. I mean, because there's not been a good film in the canon timeline, not counting the remakes, since, the first two films at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, guys, TCM2, who, of course, is where a franchise, for me, should have ended. So, this, to me, is the end of a franchise. So, yeah. Long story short, guys, in my opinion, the TCM franchise is only the first two movies from 1974 and 1986, and the two remakes, and that's it. No more, in my opinion. And when it comes to what I own, I, of course, own the first two canon movies on Blu-ray, of course, and I do also, of course, have the 2003 remake on Blu-ray, and I'm hoping to find the beginning on Blu-ray as well to add. When I see it in my stores, I'll definitely get it on Blu-ray, or maybe order it on Amazon if it's there. I'm not seeing it on Amazon more, sadly, but I will hope to find it one day. And I will not buy any of the movies. Hell no. When I rewatch them for their trash talks or mediocre mess reviews, I will rent them on Sky to watch. I'll see if they're on streaming services, of course. I mean, obviously, the last one will be easy to watch because it's a Netflix movie, so yeah, that should be easy to watch. But yeah, my advice to you guys, once again, to enter franchise is just watch the first two canon films, then go to remakes. And if you want to play a game of Leatherface, I'd recommend Mortal Kombat XL or X if you want to buy Leatherface, because he, of course, appears in that as a guest character. That's how I introduce Leatherface as a character, so yeah. He treats it better than he's in a horrible TCM film for me, so, in my opinion, so yeah. So, guys, this is me doing the next episode of the movie Didn't Need a Sequel. I was talking about why, in my opinion, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 did not need a sequel. So, you know, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let us know in the comments what you guys think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 Didn't Need a Sequel. No comments what you think. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe in the future. If you would like to be a member, you can join using a piece of ads or your description, and I'll see you all later.